Hey, friends, welcome to Homeschooling with Grace. This is your host, Erin Cox, and I'm coming to you from my car where it is quiet so we can talk about all of the decisions that you have to make as a homeschooler. After all these years of homeschooling, I have learned that one of the hardest aspects of homeschooling are all of the decisions that you have to make. And decision fatigue is very real. Most of us are making decisions on a daily basis about little things and big things. We're making decisions about our schedule, invitations, the meals that we prepare, the media that we consume, the vacations that we go on, how to order our day. Do we do the laundry right now? Do I load the dishwasher or do I sit down with my Bible? Like we make a million little and big decisions on a daily basis. And it is a little exhausting if you've not developed a framework for making decisions. Because when you don't have a framework for making decisions, it means that you're going back to square one every time you need to make a new decision. And for most of us, some of the daily managing of the home decisions aren't too overwhelming. We're not shutting down from those and not being able to function. But for many of us, those are capping us out. And then when it comes to the big decisions, it just all feels like too much. And when you are a homeschool parent, especially now post COVID, there are so many voices and so many ideas and so many curriculum programs and so many co-ops and sports and it's just endless. There are almost infinite opportunities when it comes to every aspect of educating your child at home, whether it's philosophy or actual activities or what you're going to be teaching it and when you're going to be teaching it and how you're going to be teaching it. It's just a lot. And so if you are feeling overwhelmed by that, I want you to first just recognize that, of course, you are. Like, I've been homeschooling for 14 years, and it was hard to start homeschooling back when I started homeschooling because there were decisions to be made about how do we want to do this, right? Like what do I want my general framework or philosophy of education to be? But then once I made that up, I might can go into a Facebook group or look for a blog or something and get some ideas, or maybe I could post in a Facebook group and find some local moms that were like-minded. We just got together and we all just we had information and we had knowledge, but it was limited because there wasn't just infinite tools and resources and opinions and perspectives available to us at every turn and strong opinions too. And so it was easier just to work through what you liked. It was easier to get started. It was still hard, but in a lot of ways compared to now, it was easier. So if you have been homeschooling for since COVID, at any point you started after that, just know that the world that you're navigating would shut any of us more experienced veteran homeschool moms down. So if you're like, how are they doing this? How is anybody doing this? This is so overwhelming. How do I decide anything? You are not alone. You are not stupid or not cut out for this or any of the other lies that you may be believing. You are in a fire hose of information and probably haven't been equipped with the framework to sort through all of that stuff. And so I will hopefully can give you just a little bit of tips here. So the first thing I wrote down was have a vision. And I mentioned having a framework for making decisions. And your framework for making decisions has to come from a vision that you have specifically formed and cast and prayed about and written down and articulated for your family. I have a video about this as part of a bundle. And after this year is up, I want to like pull it out of the bundle or be able to offer it separately and I'll put it on YouTube. And it's very specific and walks you through step by step how to create a vision statement. But you can also really do that yourself just through prayer. Like, and if you use AI, the ChatGPT might be able to, you could do a prompt, help me write a homeschool vision statement, ask me some questions and let me answer those and then help me. But you want your vision statement to outline things that are true about your family. Everybody's family culture is different, and that is good. And so, what's true of your family is not going to be true necessarily of mine or anyone else's. And that's unique to you. So, when you're creating a vision for what you want your homeschool experience to be for your children, you have to take into account the realities of your family. Are you all introverted? Are you all extroverted? Is there a mixture there? Are there learning disabilities or any kind of special needs involved? Are you an active family? Are you a gamer family? Do you like to stay at home? Are you homebodies? Do you like to get out and be involved and do lots of field trips? Like, you first have to just really become aware of what's true about your family, character traits. Our family is very big on being self-motivated and self-driven and being very honest and having integrity. And those are important for us. And they might be important to you too, because most of us find all the virtues are pretty important, but we all have things that we lean into and really emphasize through our own behavior and then the things that our kids are learning from us as well. So define who you are as a family and then also begin to iron out your educational philosophy. And I know that this can be hard. There are quizzes online to help you find. I want to say, who is that girl that does Simple Homeschool with Jamie Martin? I think she has a homeschool philosophy quiz, or you could just search like homeschool quiz philosophy. And you answer a bunch of questions, and it helps you figure out what may work best for your family, for your preferences. I think generally speaking, no matter what the educational philosophy, as long as you are faithfully executing it, then you're doing a good job, right? So I don't think that there are too many bad homeschool philosophies. I think the classical tradition has existed for hundreds and hundreds of years, especially as expressed through Charlotte Mason's work in philosophy, are the best, quote unquote. But that's my personal preference. So when I'm deciding things for homeschooling, I'm basing what is true of our family, what I believe to be true about education, and what I desire and envision for my children. And that could be particular academic strengths. If you're a family that really values STEM, you may be a family that values athletics, you may be a family that values ingenuity and entrepreneurial spirit. You may be a family that values like speech and debate and rhetoric and being able to defend your beliefs and your faiths and argue with eloquence. There are a lot of different kinds of families that you can be, and there's no right or wrong, good or bad. But it's important that you spend some time thinking about maybe using some internet tools and praying about what it is that defines your family and what you desire for your family, for your children through your homeschool experience. And once you have a vision for your family, you've written out a statement. This is who we are. This is what we value in education. And this is what we hope to have given our children as experiences, or what we hope the outcome in them would be. And then just write that down. You can Google sample mission statements or homeschool mission statements and stuff. And then after you've developed that, now it's your framework, right? When you have specifically outlined what is important to you and your family and what you hope to accomplish during your years together, and this may evolve over time. The homeschool mission statement I wrote 14 years ago is not the same one that I have now because my philosophy has changed, what I value has changed, how I perceive education has changed. And that's not just fine, it's good. You should be evolving and growing in wisdom over time. But no matter where you are in your journey, if you'll write something that is a definitive statement that's true of your family right now and reflects your heart, reflects what you feel like the Holy Spirit is leading you to, you can then use that as a litmus test for every decision that you need to make. Does this curriculum, does this co op, does this nature study group, does this athletic event, does this actually align with our vision statement in any way? Does it support it thoroughly? Does it inform it and uphold it? And you have to have a lot of honesty with yourself, right? Like, you might want to do something because a lot of people that you know are doing good, or it sounds like a really good idea, or some influencer on social media has really sold you on the idea, but really it doesn't align with your statement. So you really have to be honest with yourself. Just rip off the band aid and say, this is a good thing, but it's not good for us. or it's a good thing, but it's not good for us right now. This does not align with our values or our desires for where we are academically and educationally and in our family culture. So that is so important. And it doesn't matter what it sounds like or what it looks like, but it just has to be, it could be a list of adjectives, whatever you want it to be. But that is then your litmus test for every decision that you make as a homeschool parent. Now, a couple of other things that, having that framework is very helpful. And please leave me a comment on if you're watching this on YouTube or on Spotify, wherever you are, leave me a comment or send us an email, reach out through the website and let me know if you want me to, I can make a new course or something to help walk you through that mission statement process. And then not only how to curate the mission statement, but also how to use it as a framework because it really does simplify things so much. And so then also, I want you to remember that you can't do everything, right? Like I started out this episode talking about the numerous, almost endless opportunities that you currently have for your child, whether it's in person or online, whether it's a curriculum or just an activity. It is absolutely overwhelming if you are on social media and you're really seeing all the different ways and all the different things that people are doing. So I want to encourage you that you can't do everything. And if you use your mission and your goals that you have customized to your special and specific family, then that will very much weed out a lot of stuff. There are a lot of really good, beautiful, fun, enjoyable things that, yeah, your kids might would absolutely love to do them if they knew about them. That's just not a good fit for your family for any number of reasons. And different seasons matter. So you also have to recognize that when you're saying no to something, you might just not, you might be saying like, not right now, or even we can't do that all the time. When it comes to making like your framework for your day, you have a lot of decisions to make. Obviously, which curriculum are we going to use, but how are we going to order our day and order our time that's going to work for our family's unique situation, whether there's a parent that's working, that's also homeschooling, whether there are toddlers, whether people are still taking naps, whether there's therapy appointments of some type. Like everybody's situation is so different. So I think the really important thing is when you feel like you're missing out or when you feel like your kids are missing out because you're having to say no to something that is good because it doesn't currently align with your mission statement or the season that you're in, that you're also remembering like the feast of education that is before your children, and it is a big feast, is really a buffet. And the buffet is not going anywhere. So maybe you see on social media some mom that routinely sits down and does watercolor lessons with her children, right? And you think, oh, that looks so beautiful. Her children are already so talented at art. My kid's drawing stick figures at 8. He can't do anything like that. Look at these beautiful notebooking pages that they've created. Oh my goodness, I feel so behind. I've not served my children well because they haven't had the training in art that clearly her children have had. And then you can spiral. You can spiral so fast when you start going down that comparison path. But the fact of the matter is, you may have a toddler that every time you get the watercolors out, here comes the toddler absolutely destroying everything. And what was supposed to be a good and beautiful time together has been destroyed by the little tyrant that is standing in the middle of the room, like throwing the paints everywhere. Like, whatever the situation is, it can devolve into tears very quickly. And that might be something that the stress that would come from that would greatly outweigh any benefit that you can imagine. So maybe you don't do watercolor all the time like she does, but maybe once a month on a Friday when you can hire a babysitter or you can take the baby to a friend's house or whatever, be creative, figure something out. Like today's our art and craft day, and we're going to do everything that we can't do when your little sister is here. And so then you just spend an entire Friday every month just crafting and drawing and doing all these things. We see these things that are so beautiful, but most of the time we're seeing them in just a moment, right? And that family that's sharing it, they're a peek into their life with us. They may do that all the time, but they also may just be doing it that moment. And so you're seeing just a moment in time. And so I think it's just really important that we like limit the perceptions that we have about what other people are sharing or doing, and we stop elevating that and conflating. Like, we tend to elevate and conflate what we're not doing and what everybody else is doing. What I'm doing is that's fine, but she's doing this thing over here, and I'm not doing that. So she is doing better, and I am not doing as well, and I am failing, and my kids are missing out. And it's just so important to recognize, like, what you're doing is good too, right? Like, you prayed about and you read and you researched so many things, and you decided to do these things, and these things that you're doing are good. And it might not be what she's doing. Like, you're not getting the whole picture when you're making that comparison. Maybe her child can paint like Rembrandt at 8 years old, but he still literally can't read a CVC word, like, because she just hasn't taught it to him yet or whatever. And that's not even a judgment on that. I don't care. But it's just like, your kid could be reading fluently chapter books at that age. There's so many ways that we compare, and we tend to pull together the strengths of everybody else and turn those into a superwoman that we then compare ourselves to. And that is just, it's our brains do it to us, but it is so unhealthy and so unloving to ourselves. It's unkind to our children, because then we constantly are operating from this place of insufficiency, and we're not confident in what God has called us to do for our children. And we're just comparing. So don't compare. If being on social media makes you compare, get off of social media, and that will help you develop a stronger decision-making arc for your family, right? Because if you have a vision statement and you use that as a litmus test, but then you spend all of your time comparing, that's going to steal away the piece that you have from this litmus test, this system, and this framework that you have worked hard to develop. So if you work hard to develop the framework, and then you faithfully pursue God's will for your family when it comes to the curriculum and the schedule and the extracurriculars and all these different things, then you're shooting yourself in the foot and doing yourself a lot of harm and stealing from your children by then spending time on social media or on blogs or wherever you are that's making you question yourself. So if you can enjoy being in those places without doubting your decisions, then that's fantastic. I don't have a problem inherently with it, with being on social media, but I just know some of us end up there, and it creates that kind of like those loops that are unhealthy, and we just shouldn't be in that space. The other thing that you can do is create a wish list, an educational or extracurricular or book wish list. And this could be a notebook, it could be a Trello board, whatever you want it to be. And instead of seeing what someone is doing and thinking, oh man, we should have done that this year. That would have been so fun. My kids would have enjoyed that so much. I feel like I've missed out. I've missed an opportunity because we didn't do that co-op, or we didn't do that curriculum, or I didn't implement that practice in our homeschool. Just be like, oh, I'm so inspired. That's the best idea. I would love to do that with my kids. I'm going to put that on my wish list, and then add it to a tab on your Trello board. Or, oh, I wish I would have read that book and planned it for this year. I'm going to put that on my wish list for next year. And then you can operate from a place of being genuinely inspired by the people that you're following on social media, instead of falling into a trap of comparison. So just a little recap is, develop a vision statement for your family. It does not have to be fancy. You just need to know who your family is. What are the traits that are unique to you? What do you enjoy to do together? What are some things that are just like they define your family's culture? And then, how do you want to teach your children? Are there particular philosophies of education that are important to you or appeal to you? Are there certain things like practices that you want to always be involved in? So nature study or game schooling or world schooling or any of these types of ideas that sound amazing. Put those, if you want those to be fundamentally a part of your academic structure, then put those into your vision statement. And then, what do you want the fruit to be? Obviously, our children are not slot machines. We're not going to put in A and B and get out the C that we might want or dream of or admire in other people's children. But what we can do is just cast a vision and drive, because when I'm actually driving this car, I'm going to put something into my GPS. I can't say I don't want that. I don't want to go over there and then just literally drive anywhere but there. That's not a very good way to turn out any particular outcome at all, right? I'm just going away from that. So make sure that you not only are being fueled and motivated by what you don't want from your children that maybe you pulled them out of school to get away from, but just let that go. Or now, like you're out of it, let it go. And focus and set a destination for where you want to go. That is what your mission statement will do. And if you know where you want to go, then it makes it much easier to decide which turns are going to get you there. So just a whole little GPS metaphor for you there. And then use that as a litmus test. Does this activity, does this curriculum, does this class, does this instrument, does this, any of these things, do these align, fulfill, or support and move me toward the vision that I've cast for my family? And if over time you're saying no to a lot of things you really wanted to say yes to, maybe that means it's time to tweak the mission statement, right? So we can always tweak that vision statement if we're saying no to too many of the things that we think we would really love, because maybe when we wrote it, we didn't think about everything, which you can't. But also maybe when you wrote it, like maybe that was a year or two ago, and now you're still wanting to use it as a framework for buying curriculum and making decisions, but it's not hitting right like it used to. Make some changes to it. Keep that updated. You can't do everything all the time. Make a wish list for all the things that sound wonderful. Then when it's time to make some new decisions, and maybe do that twice a year. Don't make new decisions about your homeschool every week and every month. Okay. Like, just say no. Just tell yourself no. That's self-control. And in the summer, you make decisions for the fall, and maybe over winter break, you evaluate those decisions and make some changes if you want to for the spring, or maybe do it. Even if you do like a mini summer term, you could have a third little decision-making session before your summer term. So tell yourself no if you're wanting to evaluate these decisions constantly. Lean into the power and the influence of your vision statement. Use that as the framework. Stick with your decisions until it's your next decision making time. Keep a wish list, keep a little bucket list. These are field trips I wish we would have gone on, and books I wish we would have read, and activities I wish we would have done. And when you're making the decisions, look at those and compare those to the vision statement. Do they fulfill the vision statement? Do they inform the vision statement? Are they in alignment with it? If they are, where can I do that? Is this something that needs to be done every day? Is it something that needs to be done every week? Could I just do this once a quarter? Maybe I want to do a book club, but the idea of reading a new book every week or every couple of weeks, maybe that feels overwhelming and you can't do that. But maybe you could do a book club each semester, and you could get together with some like-minded friends and do some activities and have a book discussion. So not everything has to be all the time. And your children are not only formed and shaped by what you do every day, they're formed and shaped by those big special moments too. And that's okay. That's fun. That's good. That's a well-rounded education for them. So I hope that this was helpful. Please, you can reach out to us, show notes, the description below. We have links to our teacher's guides, our website. If you want to send me a message and ask me any questions, comment below if you have any questions, and let me know what you're struggling with. Let me know if you want step-by-step process of walking through building out a vision statement and then using that as your litmus test, because I would be happy to create that if that is something that you're interested in. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you have a blessed one.